Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a hit and run in Victoria leads to an ongoing investigation. Plus, behind the scenes of Port Lavaca's water system, what it takes to keep every tap safe. And Democrats end the walkout in the Texas State House, how their return may shape the redistricting fight.
Well, temperatures were a bit hot today, but rain chances are on the rise, and I'll be talking about that coming up in the full weather report.
And Victoria Gators looked improved for the 2025 season. We'll give you their full CFL preview later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry. Dawn Brubaker is on assignment. Police in Victoria are looking into a hit and run. The driver smashed into a fence near Palmetto and Mimosa Street Saturday night, scattering debris, then took off. Investigators say they have located the vehicle involved, but no arrests have been made so far. They say the investigation is still ongoing. With boil water notices in Victoria bringing water quality into the spotlight, 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley talked with city officials in Port Lavaca about how they keep the system safe and regulated. He joins us now. And Ray, what did you find out?
Yes, Shauna, every day Port Lavaca's Public Works Director Wayne Schaffer is on a mission to keep the city's water safe. He checks chlorine levels at 33 sites around town, making sure every tap is delivering clean, reliable water. The city relies on a third-party company to treat the water, but Schaffer just doesn't take their word for it. After treatment, he double-checks that to make sure it meets the safety and it isn't being wasted. It's a careful behind-the-scenes process that most residents never see, but one that ensures families in Port Lavaca can turn on the tap with confidence every single day.
As a licensed operator in the state of Texas, it's of utmost importance to me. People depend on us to provide them with drinking water. So when you have to boil it, it's an inconvenience, and there's a level of safety that the residents and the end consumer don't feel.
Schaffer says there are several other factors that go into maintaining the chlorine level, such as maintaining a certain pressure. Schaffer says temperature difference throughout the year can have an effect on the residual numbers as well. Shauna?
TxDOT is hosting 2 public hearings this week on the upcoming I-69 and US 77 projects. The first meeting is on Wednesday at the Refugio County Expo Center. The second is Thursday at the Woodsboro School Cafeteria. Both begin at 4:30 p.m. There will also be a virtual option on the TxDOT website that will remain online for at least 15 days. Lavaca County is under a new burn ban. County Judge Keith Mudd signed the order this afternoon after the Keach-Byram Drought Index reached dangerous levels. The ban prohibits campfires, bonfires, burning construction debris, and unpermitted yard or household trash unless it is in an approved enclosed barrel or container with a cover or spark arrestor. Aerial fireworks are also off limits. Violators could face fines up to $500, 60 days in jail, or both. The ban is set to last 90 days, but officials say it could be lifted or extended based on conditions. Looks like we're getting some rain in the forecast, though, which is definitely good news. Let's go to meteorologist Jacob Lozano for a first look at our forecast. Jacob?
That's right, Shauna. We're actually looking at a lot of shower activity just north of I-10 and an area right around Wharton County. But that's kind of what we're going to be seeing here is going to be shower activity coming in from the northeast, and that'll be making its way down here. But as of right now, we have this thunderstorm right here, just south of Wharton right there. It's making its way towards more the southeasterly direction. Here's a little time frame of the arrival time here over the next hour. So Ocampo, by the end of the show, should start to see some shower activity begin to pop up. But it's looking like it's starting to weaken here just a little bit, and Future Tracker is agreeing with that system weakening. Here's the remaining cloud cover is right there. But rain chances are still in our forecast, and we're going to be talking about that coming up in the full weather report. Shauna?
Democratic members of the Texas State House returned today after leaving the state for 2 weeks. They fled the state to prevent a quorum in the House and prevent the passage of a redistricting effort by Republicans that would possibly add 5 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives for the Republican Party. The lawmakers returned today as a second special session was set to begin. They were welcomed by a boisterous group of supporters inside the Texas Capitol. Speaker Dustin Burrows said lawmakers with arrest warrants must sign a pledge to attend Wednesday's session and be assigned a DPS agent to ensure their presence.
these most unpopular things the Republicans can do right now in America. Governor Abbott's polling numbers have gone upside down. He is now more unpopular than he is popular, and largely because of this issue, largely because the public now sees their corruption. They see where the swamp actually is. They're watching how Washington, D.C. bosses give the orders for states to do whatever they want, no matter how unethical, how unprincipled, how undemocratic. They're going to just do it because they don't know any better.
Lawmakers are expected to take up the redistricting bill and a flood relief measure during the special session of the Texas House. Texas Democrats say returning was not their best course of action and fighting the Republicans' new redistricting map in the courts. So we go to today's viewer poll now. We're asking you, how concerned are you about the impact of political redistricting battles? Are you very concerned, somewhat concerned, neutral or unsure, not very concerned, or not concerned at all? Right now, we're tipping a little bit more to the left than we were during our 5 p.m. newscast towards very concerned, but still in that neutral category. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to let us know. And we will have another look at these results on 25 News Now at 10. A consequential high-stakes day at the White House as Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky returns to meet with President Donald Trump and try to bring an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. This summit comes after Trump abandoned the strategy agreed upon with foreign leaders before meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska last Friday. Brian Abel is at the White House with the details as not just Zelensky, but multiple European leaders descend on Washington.
The Zelensky-Trump meeting in the Oval Office is over, and the conversation has moved to all of the European leaders that are here at the White House for the multilateral meeting. But while in that Oval Office meeting, Zelensky said that Ukraine is ready to find a diplomatic way to end the war. Meanwhile, when asked today if it's deal or no deal for U.S. support for Ukraine, Trump said it's not the end of the road and left open the possibility of having U.S. troops in Ukraine for security if a deal is reached. President Donald Trump hosting a delegation of world leaders Monday at the White House, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Their last contentious Oval Office face-to-face, still fresh in the minds of many, with hopes by all that this time will be different and a path to peace in Ukraine can be paved. But ahead of Monday's meeting, many of the same sticking points from then remain. Zelensky continuing his long insistence that an unconditional ceasefire needs to happen before negotiating a deal.
It's impossible to do this under the pressure of weapons. So it's necessary to cease fire and work quickly on a final deal.
That was also the position of the other European leaders meeting at the White House and agreed upon by Trump before he met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. But after their meeting, details emerged that Trump abandoned that stance, saying enough progress was made that they could work towards a peace deal, and also adopting some of Putin's stances. Notably, in a Truth Social post, Trump saying that Ukraine can end the war right now, but must give up Crimea and any pursuit of joining NATO. All of this as the stakes remain abundantly clear. Putin, according to Zelensky, continuing his deadly attacks on Ukraine with new drone strikes overnight. And the tone of today's Oval Office meeting starkly different than the one back in February. What's next? That really depends on how these conversations here at the White House today go. Will there be a trilateral meeting afterwards between Putin, Zelensky, and Trump? And if so, when? Both Trump and Zelensky have said they want that to happen. And President Trump says after these meetings are over, he will be calling President Putin almost right afterwards. At the White House, Brian Abel reporting.
20 states and Washington, D.C. are suing the Trump administration over conditions the Justice Department put on federal grant money for crime victims. They say the administration is improperly withholding hundreds of millions of dollars to force states to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. The states are asking a federal judge to strike down the conditions. The grant money helps crime victims with things like medical bills, funeral costs, counseling, and emergency shelter. The states say if the funds are withheld, they will have to either fully cooperate with Immigration and Customs Enforcement or scale back or shut down those programs. The second week of President Trump's federal law enforcement takeover begins in Washington, D.C. Karen Caifa reports on the rising tensions over the weekend and concerns among D.C. officials and residents.
Monday put President Donald Trump's deployment of federal law enforcement in Washington, D.C. on a global stage as European leaders visited the White House for a meeting between Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the heels of weekend tensions. As residents protested the presence of National Guard troops at landmarks like Union Station and the National Mall. Some residents from in and around the city this weekend said the Trump show of force doesn't make sense, as D.C. officials point to a decline in violent crime since a 2023 spike.
You should not deploy the National Guard on this soil for the purpose of intimidating a populace. That is not what they are here for.
The FBI said law enforcement made 68 arrests in D.C. on Saturday and Sunday, including 19 FBI arrests, and seized 15 firearms. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, a Democrat, on Monday was asked about the presence of federal immigration officers at some recent arrests.
Nobody is against focusing on driving down any level of violence. And so if this is really about immigration enforcement, I think the administration should make that plain.
Meanwhile, governors from 3 Republican-led states, West Virginia, Ohio, and South Carolina, agreed to send hundreds of their National Guard troops to Washington. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
Remember to subscribe to our Crossroads Today YouTube channel, hit the like button, and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, America's food system is under the microscope. What a new federal report could mean for the future of pesticides and processed foods. Plus, Ozempic just got more affordable for patients, how a new direct-to-consumer option could help Americans pay less for the diabetes drug. The measles outbreak in West Texas is officially over. State health officials say it has been more than 42 days since a new case was reported in any county with previous transmission. Since late January, there have been 762 cases in Texas, mostly in children, with 99 hospitalizations and 2 deaths in school-aged children. Officials credit testing, vaccination, and public education for helping end the outbreak. While the dashboard will no longer be updated, health leaders warn the threat is not gone, with outbreaks continuing in other parts of North America and around the world. Parents in Texas are increasingly seeking vaccine exemption forms for their children, with the number of requests doubling since 2018. To read this full Texas Tribune article, come to crossroadstoday.com. Well, now to RFK Jr.'s quest to make America healthy again. The health secretary has been critical of the use of pesticides, and now a draft report obtained by ABC News suggests recommendations backed by Kennedy will not be adopted. ABC's Lionel Moise has the details.
This morning, a potential setback for Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in his push to restrict pesticides in ultra-processed foods. An upcoming Make America Healthy Again report does not signal any intention to eliminate pesticides, instead calling for more targeted and precise pesticide applications and programs that would help to decrease pesticide volumes. It also calls for a government-wide definition of ultra-processed food. The draft report, first reported by the New York Times, comes as a follow-up to a report in May with officials pointing to factors that are worsening the health of American children. RFK Jr. saying this in his January confirmation hearing.
Something is poisoning the American people, and we know that the primary culprits are changing food supply, the switch to highly chemical intensive processed foods.
The health department is declining to verify the draft's authenticity, with the White House saying unless officially released, it is speculative literature. While many have pushed for pesticides to be removed, questioning the impact to health, some groups lobbied against new recommendations. The Secretary of Agriculture telling reporters this month,
there is no chance that our current system of agriculture can survive without those crop protection tools.
The administration has already moved to phase out artificial food dyes and fast-track approval of natural alternatives. Kellogg's, General Mills, and Smucker are eliminating artificial dyes from their products. Chains like Popeyes and Sweetgreen have also committed to remove seed oils from menus, which Kennedy has said is linked to obesity and chronic illness.
Seed oil is one of the components of processed foods, and that is, all the science indicates that ultra-processed foods are the principal culprit.
Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
The report is expected to be released formally later this year. Novo Nordisk is making Ozempic more affordable for U.S. patients. The company announced today that those paying out of pocket can get a month's supply for $499, about half the list price. The move comes as President Trump pushes drug makers to lower costs, targeting expensive GLP-1 medications that are used for diabetes and weight loss. Novo Nordisk is offering Ozempic through its NovoCare pharmacy, shipping directly to cash-paying customers. Discounts are also available online and through partners like GoodRx. The company says this will help patients who pay out of pocket, keeping them from turning to unapproved alternatives.
I don't know if you stepped outside today, but it was very hot, and I'll tell you exactly how hot it was. But we're also watching this lone little shower and thunderstorm rolling down the 59 corridor. I'll be talking about that after the break. Well, Crossroads, let's talk about how hot it is outside. Right now, it is 98 here in Victoria. Cuero's at 100, Yoakum's at 101, and well, Gonzales is at 103. It is still relatively very hot outside for us here in the Crossroads, but it wasn't as hot as it was a couple hours ago, let's just say. We actually hit 100 degrees for the day here at 4:51 was 100. 4 degrees off of the average, but 4 degrees away from the record here. But we didn't get any rainfall, though. But fortunately, we are going to have rain in our forecast, though. The heat index was also the conversation today. About 10:50 this morning, it was 118 there in Port Lavaca as the feels like temperature. And for us here, well, 110 was what we got to here at 5 o'clock here. So it was another hot and toasty day for us here. And it's going to continue here for at least the next 2 days. 104 is what it's going to feel like here. 106 there Wednesday. And then we start to drop off down here as we start to get some unusual wind pattern. A northerly wind will start to blow in here. That'll kind of help cool us off here just a little bit. But let's talk about the rain because that's what we're here for. We want to see the rain. We need the rain. Let's talk about it. Well, we have a lot of shower activity up in the northeast. That's actually where we're going to see a lot of this shower activity for this week. Is going to be pushed down here with these short waves, or what we call it, as they will push down towards the 59 corridor, kind of riding along that. And just like this little lone thunderstorm here right around Wharton, it's going to be riding down the 59 corridor. But this system is actually going to be weakening here as it makes its way towards Jackson County. But here's the time frame here. Within the next 10-15 minutes or so, we're going to start to see it make its way just south of El Campo here, continue to ride along the 59 corridor. But by the time it gets to Jackson County, it should be dissipating here as what we see with Future Tracker. There's the remnants of it from that cloud cover there by 8 p.m. But that's not it. We're still going to be watching for that shortwave up around the Houston area. That's going to be pushed down here. So by 1 p.m., we'll start to see more shower activity pick up here. But it does seem like it does a little split around the Victoria area and regain formation here around Goliad. But this is just a model. We can continue to watch this as the system develops here for tomorrow. But rain chances are going to be likely across the entirety of the Crossroads region. So that's something to look forward to here for tomorrow, especially in the afternoon time. So if you want to know, you can bring your umbrella for the afternoon time, not necessarily in the morning time, because that's where we're going to see more of the shower activity. But that's just not it. Go ahead and look out towards Wednesday for us here. So there's that Tuesday push right there at 5 p.m. And Wednesday, there's another push of a short wave coming in from the north-northeast here. By 11 p.m., we'll start to see more shower activity possible for that. But there's another push of another north-northwesterly push. And that's just from the high pressure that has moved out towards the west. It's starting to steer all these showers and thunderstorms down towards us. But I'm thinking Thursday is going to be our best chance for some rain here. For Thursday afternoon, we get another push of that shower and thunderstorm activity. Could see 1 to 2 inches of rain associated with that, as well as for tomorrow as well. Looking like a good chance for some shower activity. But for your daily planner, isolated showers here in the morning here for Victoria, getting to mostly cloudy skies, but temperatures will be a little bit cooler, getting in the 90s, mostly cloudy here in Port Lavaca. Still going to hold for that rain chance, though, around that time frame as well as Cuero. Going to be seeing that afternoon shower activity pick up once again here for us here. But 40% for tomorrow is where I'm keeping it at right now for scattered storms. 30% here Wednesday, but they pick up here Thursday, especially in the evening time. That's where I'm thinking where it's going to rain the most. Keeping it at 30%. So rain activity for the next 7 days, but temperatures, look at that, they kind of get down to the low 90s because of those northerly winds, which is something we could also look forward to for some quote-unquote cooler conditions. Now don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. And speaking of sports, we got Max.
All right,
going into Victoria, he's planning to showcase all the fall sports teams and extracurricular activities going on. We'll highlight that coming up in sports. Everyone, I can't believe we're only 11 days away from kicking off the Texas high school football season. We're almost done, too, with our CFL preview coverage. And today we're going to look at the Victoria Gators, where last year they went 3-7 overall, 1-3 in district play. They got big productions last year from running back Bladen Tompkins, who did graduate, though, this past year. But also 2 top receivers coming back, though, for the Gators this year, Eli and Caden Grafmeyer, who are going to be huge out there in the passing game for the Gators. Also, keep an eye out there for Tapper Scrap Lesser that competed there a couple weeks ago out there in Devin Aguilar. He's going to his senior year. He's going to be another top receiver threat for this team. They open up the season for the Gators. They'll be home on August 28th. So before all the games start, they're on August 29th. They'll be the first game we look at there Thursday night versus Texas Christian, and it'll be at 6 p.m. Now over to Victoria East, where tonight they're hosting an Unleash the Beast pep rally event that's going on there at the high school. This event will highlight all the sports teams there, also extracurricular activities there out at Heath High School. The event started about an hour ago, so later on tonight we're going to get some footage of the event, hear maybe some people that are going to be in this area, so we'll have that later for you for 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. Another big event that happened there this past weekend was Refugio and Goliad. Teams along with the Goliad Athletic Booster Club proud to send a check in the amount of $904 to the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country and Kerrville Country Flood Relief to help out the much needed flood assistance out there in Kerrville. It's a huge difference to the city area, and also later on in the season we're going to get a word from some of the coaches about how they felt about this moment. And again, big props up for both of these teams helping out obviously the ones and the flood victims out there in Kerrville. Over to cross country, where the Cuero Gobblers high school team, JV and junior high team, they placed very high at the Yoakum Invitational this past weekend. The JV boys team became champions with 22 points, led there by Ismael Botello. And then also the JV girls team had 4 medalists and finished out there in second place with 33 points, led under Cameron Villa. And then the junior high girls finished up in 9th place with 34 points under Carmen Ureski. And then finally the junior high boys team got 3rd place there, 93 points, and then 3rd place there in Leroy Maldonado. Now over to MLB, where the Houston Astros actually did not fix up the score right now, and have to get that score update for later, but they are facing the Detroit Tigers at the moment right now. They're again for the Tigers. Both these teams are atop the West and the Central right now, and again we'll see how this score turns out to be for 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. Now a game that's going to start in 15 minutes from now is the Texas Rangers there on the road there for the first game of a 4-game series with the Kansas City Royals. The Rangers have Jack Leader on the mound tonight there, while the Royals, they threw in Michael Walker, former St. Louis Cardinal there for the team, and he have the full update there for 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. And that's going to do it here in sports. Shauna, back to you.
We are back in a moment. She skated her way into the record books. We'll take a look at what drove one woman to go on a cross-country ride and inspire others along the way. Brooke Johnson has made history as the first woman to skateboard across America. She rolled into Virginia Beach on Friday, completing her 118-day journey from Venice Beach, California. The ride was in honor of her stepdad, who suffered a spinal cord injury. She had promised to raise money for his recovery, a mission she kept even after he passed away. Brooke celebrated with the community, signing helmets and inspiring young fans. Her journey ended with nearly $50,000 raised for spinal cord research.
That's awesome.
So, not biking,
I was gonna say
skateboarding,
yeah, that is,
all the way across the country.
You gotta be on point with skating. Like if you lose your balance or whatever, you're gonna be off. And like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I would think you would it'd be even more tiring.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
going around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like pushing
yeah.
the whole way there.
Right. All right. Well, some cooler temperatures. I don't know if this means we can, spend some more enjoyable time outside.
Yeah, I would say so. Cooler, quote unquote. But we do have a little, what we call a little front that'll be pushing in here by Thursday evening. It'll give us to 93, so you don't need to bring out the jackets, but it brings in the northerly winds. But look at that, rain chances all week long here. I think our best bet's Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, so something to look out for.
So will it maybe feel just a little less humid?
It'll feel a little less summer-like.
Okay. Whatever that means. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Until then, have a great evening.